review a very fucking classic movie. To me, it's a classic. I've seen it so many times, and finally I had time to check this movie out for reviewing purposes now. And it's called The Monster Club. I mean, let me tell you about Monster Club. This movie is a fun movie. You want a fun movie for Halloween time, or a fun movie in general? This is a fun movie, and of course, it's one of my favorite genres, anthology horror. And let me tell you how the story began. You got a writer. He spotted a lost guy. You know, he needed some food. Drank his blood, only a nip of it, so he won't become a vampire. And of course, the vampire is played by the legendary icon Vincent Price. Plus, you got Donald Pleasance also in this movie, and John Carradine. So you can't beat that. You got a triple threat of classic icons, you know. And so he takes him to a club where all the monsters be partying, having fun. And what's making this movie awesome is the fucking soundtrack in this movie. The soundtrack is good old-fashioned fun rock and roll music, man. And I love the soundtrack. And the DVD has the soundtrack as a special feature. You can listen to each of the soundtrack songs. So you got a great combination of this DVD with the soundtrack, and you got the trailers, of course, and bios of each of the actors, which is good to know, by the way, especially for today's time, since all three of the classic icon actors I just mentioned passed away, you know. And well, pretty much he takes him to a club and he tells him three different stories. Except for the second story. The second story was told by a movie producer. But let's start with the first story. The first story is about this woman who takes a job from this mongoose-looking guy, you know, only because she wanted to use him for the money, you know, trying to steal the money from the house. But when the mongoose found out and how true feelings for him is, the results wasn't pretty. The second story is my favorite because it's like horror and comedy. These vampire hunters gonna stake a vampire in his house, but the son, so the vampire hunter uses his son to get into the house. Great comedy in this second story. You know, it was a fun story, and I liked it this when I was a kid. I liked it this still now after seeing it again. You know, the third story is another one. Of course, we got director who stumbles into a town looking for a new location, and the town is run by ghouls. A good twist ending to this one too, also. But all three stories are good, and of course the sub story, which is Vince Price taking to the club, and when they decide to give him a membership to the Monster Club, will the monsters go for it? Well, you're gonna see this movie. Anyway, Monster Club. I know this review is a little long, but you know what? It's